The job of an actor is to act and play that character, on screen. So stay connected to the craft. What was that reaction you just gave? Were you thinking of your next question? Or were you trying to understand what I just said?
Is there now, obviously because of OTT, there's people will say, nahi, मैं OTT पे देख लूँगा. I don't have to go to the theatre for this.
मेरी पिक्चर प्लीज आप थिएटर में देखने आओ. बड़ी मेहनत करती हूँ. When I see black, I'm like, this was the best that I could do. Sanjay actually made me wear black lenses because he said, Rani, your eyes speak volumes.
I've had a couple of producers tell me that right now lead actors are charging too much and the entourages cost too much money and people have multiple vanities and there's so
They should
much.
just not give.
As a Bengali, will you ever get on one of these diets?
No, because I can't enjoy fish that is not fried.
Rani Mukherjee, I have waited for this conversation for so long. I am so excited to finally have you here. and
Thank
to
you.
have
It's
this
my
chat.
absolute honor to be here and talking to you, Faye.
So Mardani 3.
Yes.
And when I was doing the research, it said perhaps India's only woman-led franchise that has
Yes.
been so successful. That's quite special, right?
It is.
How does it feel to have the third edition come out?
It's very special, Faye, because it is difficult going on with a storyline which is also talking about not the very happy parts of our society. It actually takes subjects which are very deep rooted and quite dark, but the reality, And a lot of times, as entertainment, people don't want to see something that is so dark, knowing fully well that it is inspired by real stories. So I think that's the whole point about the film is that it makes you uncomfortable, it makes you want to think, and it makes you want to start talking about these issues even more aggressively so that we are heard. Because when there are conversations about, missing girls, rape, serial killers, trafficking, I think these are things that are happening around us. So these are the difficult subjects that Mardani tackles. So to get that much love from the audience is a huge thing because you see that the audience is ready for the hard talk, and they're ready to see something, get inspired, get aware. So that's why Mardani 3 is special. That the fact that we've reached the third franchise, like the third part, it goes to show how amazing our audience is, that they're accepting a female-led film that is not about dances, not about songs, not about histrionics. It's just about the real stories about women, their issues, the problems that they face, the challenges that they face, everyday living. Also about a really tough cop, a woman in uniform. So I think it's a...
The franchise has been on for a while, and I felt like although it's not part of the same, the No One Killed Jessica film sort of led into that space. But was there anyone ever who turned around and said, "Yaar, itna grim kisi ko dekhna nahi hota. People go to the theatre to escape."
Yes, so these are conversations, but that is what we want to show in the film. Like, you can't make a Mardani and not talk about the real topics.
Yeah.
It is important, and if it is grim, it is grim. But that's the challenge.
Because
and the
it's
challenge
also
is
spread across many,
Yeah.
many eras of
Yes,
filmmaking, right?
Yes,
Where people
yes.
have changed
Yes.
what they're making. Yeah.
Sadly enough, we're still talking about women's safety. Whether it is 2014 when I did the first one, to 2019 when I did the second one, and 2026, the conversations are the same. It's not as if crime has become less. It's only become worse. There is even more conversation about women's safety. And not only in India, it's around the world. So a person sitting in, say, London, the UK, or say as far as Australia or America, they will relate with the film because they are also going through the same thing.
And I remember I had done, it also struck me when I was watching this series of films, I had done a series with the Mumbai police about police reform. And one of the issues that came up was the fact that you have a finite force, and that force is doing VIP security, and is also doing bandobast for whenever there's a big event happening. But they're also supposed to be looking for missing children, and they're also supposed to be handling like whatever
Everyday
petty
cases.
crime and
Yes.
cases and wallet churaya and something else.
Yes.
All of these things, these same people, and so they wind up tackling whatever is you know, the biggest thing that has come up in front of them, and that missing child that you're talking about, will keep getting pushed further and further.
Now, while I was doing the promotions for the film, and I met so many
Cops.
female cops, you know, the women in uniform, so to speak, and I was hearing their stories about how many girls they have rescued.
Yeah.
So the thing, what surprises me is what we get to know is still the things that they have not solved. But the amount of ones that they've rescued, those things never come into the limelight, you know. What actually becomes the topic of discussion is the ones that they have not yet solved, you know. And I was just hearing a story. I was with a friend of mine, and she was saying that she was doing some painting work in her house, and the painter apparently went to her and asked her that, you know, do you know of anybody who I can, you know, take my daughter's picture? And she asked why. He said that because 3 years back, we came from a dinner from our relative's house, and my daughter was with me, my wife was with me at home. I just went out of my house, which is just 10 steps away, to eat pan, you know. And the daughter followed the dad. The dad thought that the daughter is with the mother. Mother thought that the daughter is gone with the father. And in that split second, the daughter was not found. She left the house and she disappeared. And from that time to now, it's been 10 years. So she went missing at the age of 6, and today she could be 16. So these are the real stories, and they are disturbing. They're disturbing as hell. And my main agenda of doing the Mardani series has always been to raise more awareness towards this. More and more people getting to know, because, you know, we live in a bubble of our own.
Yeah.
We believe that we are out of harm's way. But it's
No one is.
no one is. And we need to we need to be more, like, you know, vigilant at all times. At least keep a tab. Let's talk about the positive. It's getting quite sad and grim. I think the positive, I think that the police have started a lot of initiatives like the Nirbhaya Squad, the Damni Squad, the helplines. Now it is on to us as citizens and to them to create the awareness about these helplines, create more awareness towards these squads. So at least if girls are in danger, they should know where to call. So sometimes you don't even know what help to call for. But if you know, it even makes it even more easier to, you know, start making those calls and stuff. So yeah, it's like awareness.
You've actually, I mean, if I've gotten this right, 30 years in film now?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is really special. And to be at the helm, to be relevant, to still be hitting it out of the park on a regular basis, that's really special. If you look at how much the industry has changed from the time you joined it to where it is right now,
Yes.
is audience appetite completely different? Because I remember in the 90s, the rom-coms were softer, and, you know, there was a lot of softness in the
You know,
films
see, if
that
you
we
go
were
into the
watching.
history of cinema, and with each decade,
Yes.
you'll see that there have been all kinds of films. But the language of cinema also changes according to what the audience wants.
Yes.
You know, and at the end of the day, I think an audience is very innocent. All they want to do is go. They give us their hard-earned money. They buy a ticket, and they want to see a good film. Now, good film according to the audience, not according to us, because we all intend our start of making a film. The intention is always to do something good, but it's the audience who always shows us the true picture. You know, because if they like something, means we've done something correct. If they reject a film, there's definitely something in the film that was wrong. You know, and I always believe that. Always say that audience is king. They know. And because they are going just to like a film, no audience goes to hate a film,
Yes.
you know. And we just have to be honest to our craft, honest to the film, that the story that we are making. If we are making a romance, we should be very, very honest to that filmmaking. If we are making a thriller, we should be honest to that genre. If we are doing action, we have to give the audience what they're coming to watch, you know, and the audience will accept and they will applaud us.
Is there now, obviously because of OTT, there's people who say, नहीं मैं OTT पे देख लूँगा. I don't have to go to the theatre for this. So
मेरी पिक्चर प्लीज आप थिएटर में देखने आओ, बड़ी मेहनत करती हूँ, प्लीज आइए आप थिएटर में फिल्म देखने. इट्स अ थिएट्रिकल. प्लीज OTT के लिए वेट मत कीजिए, थिएटर में आइए. बहुत अच्छे समोसे मिलेंगे,
पॉपकॉर्न मिलेगा.
पॉपकॉर्न मिलेगा, बहुत अच्छे कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स मिलेंगे ठंडे ठंडे. और आजकल तो आई एम हियरिंग दैट यू गेट a lot more than just
Yes.
popcorn and samosa. You get nachos,
Yes.
you get burgers, you get fries. So there's lot more. बहुत अच्छा अच्छा खाना भी मिलता है. So I'm like, please जाइए, अच्छे से enjoy कीजिए. It's like now they have recliners also.
Yes.
You know, you can go enjoy a movie with with the whole community watch.
Yes.
And it's so amazing. And then also have ice cream. I used to love the chocobar cone.
Yes.
So these
Which
are
at
things.
the end of the film, you discover most of it is on your T-shirt.
Yes, yes. So, that's the fun. That's the fun of going to the cinema, watching the film as a community. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Then to be in your house and you're like, you can pause it at any time. You can go. It's like, when you're like watching, you can't even like go to the loo because you want to know what's coming next. You're like,
Yeah.
if you go to the loo, you'll miss it.
You miss it, yeah.
So that's the energy, that you come
But
towards
is,
the
but
movie.
is that now, the challenge for filmmakers like yourself? Because you're saying, hey, we're making this for the theatre. We want... So to get people to actually get out of their houses and go to the theatre.
Yeah.
So
But
what
actually,
is-
what the audience is wanting to come. They just want to see good content.
Okay.
If they kind of see a trailer which they like, 100% they're like coming to see your work.
So you don't believe in... I've had a few conversations where people say that because of OTT and the fact that it's easily available on all your screens, it's sort of broken the model.
they are very sure of which films they want to watch on big screen, what they want to watch on OTT. There are certain films that they prefer to watch on OTT since there's a buffet of content there.
Yeah.
But sometimes they also want to go for fine dining, just to kind of go and get the experience,
Yeah.
Always you just don't want to be at home.
So, Mardani, all of the three have had a fair amount of action/violence.
Yes.
Do you work on it differently given that you're looking at all of this from a woman's gaze?
Yes.
And I mean, sometimes the violence is important, but it can't be beautiful. Tell me what your strategy is when you work on those scenes that involve violence, that involve also crime of a sexual nature, because there's a fair amount of that.
I think what is important is that we need to show it in a way that an audience kind of sees it as authentic, or not try and make it, in a way that it kind of puts them off, but to the extent that they understand that this is what the situation is in reality. Because whatever we've picked up from the real incidents or things that we have researched, and we have taken interviews of, say, cops, and found out about the real crimes that are happening, we obviously can't show it exactly the way it does happen, but as much as we can, to the extent that the audience gets an idea as what is happening, you have to, because still an audience doesn't feel it. Like it doesn't creep into their skin, or there is no point to even make a story. Like if it's only in dialogues, then it's preferable you see theatre. Because in theatre, there are conversations that you do to make an audience understand what and how a situation happened. You won't really see it. It's more in the description, But in cinema, because it's a audio-visual medium, some part of the visual has to, be a little, I would say, shot in a way that it shows the authenticity of what the crime is.
It shakes you up a little bit.
Yeah.
We've put something interesting together for you,
Okay.
where we've got some looks
Okay.
from your previous films,
Okay.
through, as in what my team and I thought were marquee films that you
Okay.
did. And we'll put it up on the screen.
Okay.
And I want you to tell us what you remember, like an anecdote or your reaction
Okay.
to seeing it. Ready?
Cool.
All right, let's go.
Oh my God, that's my first day of my shoot.
Yeah.
That is actually from Raja Ki Aayegi Barat. And I was shooting very, very surreally in my college, SNDT.
Okay.
So SNDT also gives a part of because it's a very big campus. So there is one place where they give it for hire for like studios to come and shoot. And I was shooting in my college, and it was this song called Raja Ki Aayi Hai Barat, which was the title song of the film.
So did you think, oh, my classmates might see me?
No, my classmates were already in Polytechnic, and and we actually shot it during the holidays. So there was nobody in college at that time except the ones who were staying there in the hostel.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is my first film. Always will be special. Yeah, and me at 16. So it feels good to see my younger self. Okay,
This.
that is Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, of course.
That outfit, I remember that.
So yeah, all credit for the outfit goes to Manish Malhotra and Karan Johar,
Yeah.
because
But this was your moment. I mean, you
Yeah.
were everywhere. Tina
I
was
think,
everywhere.
Yeah, I think the way the audience kind of lapped up the role, the way they connected to Tina as a character is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even today, wherever I go, it's Tina kind of resonates very, very strongly. So yeah, so there's definitely some magic in this film and also in the part.
So when did you know, after this film came out, that the film was a hit and you're now a star? Like, what was that moment where you're like, okay, is this a hit? Has
That's
something
what's-
happened? Does that happen? Is there a moment?
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I can't really recall because I remember I was shooting abroad for a film. I think I was shooting in Switzerland when Kuch Kuch Hota Hai released. And all I got was, that time there were no mobile phones, there was no social media, there was no way to understand. But there was a call that came and said that, the movie has done really well. Because at the same day, I think there was another release which was Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. I remember that very clearly. But apparently, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai did really well in spite of having a film like Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. So I remember getting a phone call in Switzerland saying that the movie has done really well. And I was very, very happy for Karan. I still remember that. Okay, this is Satya.
But Satya was such a beautiful film because it went beyond the happily ever after
Yes,
ending, right?
yes,
and then
yes,
there's
yes,
real
yes,
life.
yes, yes,
as all
yes,
of us
yes,
who are
yes,
married
yes,
know.
yeah.
Actual real life sets in.
Yes.
And I think for us, it was the first film that actually went there. The first
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
romance film.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was so real.
I think credit again goes to Mr. Mani Ratnam, who actually made the original Ale Paaye The.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful film. And I think that's what Mani sir is great at, relationships. The way he captures, the reality from your everyday life. He's a god in that. And of course, Shad, who was Manisha's assistant and who was the director of Satya, he got an opportunity to make this in Hindi. And it was amazing to basically have the whole skeleton with us while we shot, because it was a film that I think Shad had, if I'm not mistaken, he had assisted Mani sir as well. And the way he shot it in Bombay was like, we call that the gorilla shoot. So it's like taking the camera and being on actual location and just shooting. In whatever environment that we get, we just have to shoot. So there's no stopping
Anyone
or
from
barricading or
walking.
anything.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you just go there and you just get it done. And I remember shooting in Marine Lines and all of Bombay during that way. Walkeshwar, Marine Lines, that was the place where we shot. Of course, Bandra, the railway colony, which was beautiful where we shot it. And the real locations, And it was nice because there was a lot of young energy. Shad brought in his mad and young energy. And it was beautiful because the scenes were beautiful, though those were already crafted by Mani Ratnam. And we were doing the Hindi version of it. So they were beautiful scenes.
And you had the ability to make it yours, which you did.
Yes, because I have to play Sohani, who is from Bombay.
Yes.
So obviously a lot of things changes. And you have to make Sohani look like Sohani, who was born and brought up in Bombay in the railway colony, and somebody who wants to be a doctor. So it like her character was amazing. Sohani's character was amazing. You know, she came with this. She was very self-aware. You know, and I remember that she had this pride in her for who she is, and I thought that was amazing about her character. And also, if you've seen Faye through my career, I've always tried to portray Indian women, strong Indian women, through my characters over the decade. So as the decade changes, I like to portray and tell the world that, hey, you look at us, we are Indian women, and these are how Indian women are. You know, because I'm so inspired by these characters myself. As a person, I get to learn so much from them that I'd like to tell the rest of the world that, hey, look at an Indian journalist. She's as fiery as Meera Geti. Look at Sohani. She's a young girl. Look at the fire in her. You see Shashi from Yuva. You know, she comes from a different economic strata in the society. But look at her, how self-assured she is, how she knows how to get things and how powerful she is. Then you see Michelle in like Black. So I thought those were things that were never spoken in Hindi cinema before, but I was actually imbibing what the girl was at that time in India. You know, she had started to speak up for herself. She started to be self-aware. You know, and I thought that was the beauty of all the characters that I chose.
Whether it's a huge journey starting from Aati Kya Kanda.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, any role, you know, whether it's Hitchki, you know, that teacher who was somebody who wanted to fight her own challenge of having Tourette's, but she did what she wanted to achieve. And of course, to Shivani, Hum Toma.
It was such a beautiful romance. It was such an era for romance in our
Yes,
films,
it's
right?
beautiful. But I think Hum Tum stands testimony because of that scene that she does in the church with Saif.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that actually changed a lot for that film. That decision of the girl saying that that's fine if we've, you know, got a little too cozy last night, but we must marry for the right reason.
Yes.
And I thought that was an amazing thing about Hum Tum. Of course, Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna,
Yeah.
most important films of also Karan's, I would say, filmography. All of us, I think we tackled a subject which was even today a topic of discussion, you know. And I think it spoke a lot of things. And it's a point of view, you know, it doesn't have to be right or wrong. You know, everybody has the right to live with their rights and their wrongs. But it's also not okay to judge others if they want to live the way they want to live.
I mean, the idea of normalizing what it takes to be happy.
You know, I don't think, you know, even in Kabhi Alvida, if you see the film correctly, it didn't glorify the fact that they were cheating.
No, but at the
Yeah,
end
it
of the
did.
film, each individual was better off.
Of course, they were
Yes.
better off. But when it actually happened in the film, I don't think it was, you know, glorified. They
No,
got
it was
punished for what they did. So it was really not saying that, okay, you must cheat and you must go on with your life. No, there are lives at stake, there are relationships at stake. And that's not how a relationship should be. Because people get into a marriage or in a relationship to make it work. Nobody gets into a marriage for it to break.
Yes.
And when a marriage breaks, it's not just the two of them, it's also families that get shattered. You know, and a lot of like, you know, emotions, like high strung emotions, people's lives get killed. And it's always the person who chooses to leave. He's probably slightly better off than the one who's been left behind because the other one didn't have a choice, you know, to say whether they still want to be in it or not. So, you know, those are discussions that happen. But the good thing that Karan did is that he did not glorify it. You know, Dev and Maya get punished for what they did. And at the end of the film, the partners come and say that, you know, it's fine that it happened, but now move on because we have moved on and it's time that you guys also should move on from the guilt and from all of that. So it was a happy ending.
And of course, it's Karan Johar, so there's always a train.
Yeah.
We go to the next one.
Oh my God,
this.
Black.
This. Would you, I mean, career defining for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think I can better this performance. There are other films of mine where I think that, you know what, maybe I could have done this in this way. When I see Black, I'm like, this was the best that I could do. I don't think I can replicate it. There was a certain magic when I shot the movie. There was a lot of blessings from all the children from the Helen Keller Institute. I do believe that there was a certain kind of magic that was around us when we shot the film. It was like a blessing from above, from somewhere, because we were talking about a story of people. They don't have a choice in the way they're born, and they have to live that life, and with a lot of dignity, with a lot of self-respect. So I think that was a film that taught me to be way more grateful than I already was at every given point of my life. To just be grateful. And this film was just about that. And to have Sanjay and Mr. Bachchan and so many wonderful actors in the film, that it just taught me a lot. I would always be grateful to Sanjay for giving me this part,
This film also, the fact that the way you looked, and you were so honest to a person who is living with
Yes.
disability,
Yes.
that it was not about how the camera is catching your light and what
But I think I
colours.
looked my best in this.
You did.
I did
And it
think.
was so honest and it was so
Because it was so
beautiful.
me.
And
it was
it
it
was
was just me.
I mean, I think that the amount of love the audience feels
Oh
for
my
this
God.
character.
Oh my God.
And you just become one with this. Is so beautiful. It's
Yeah,
so
and Sanjay
powerful.
actually made me wear black lenses because he said, Rani, your eyes speak volumes. And I can't
You're
have
doing
that.
too much work. Yeah.
Yeah, they do too much of talking, so I need to blank it out. So he actually blanked my,
Yeah.
and he gave me those black lenses,
Contact lenses,
like
yeah.
complete black. Like it was slightly like also dark, so I couldn't actually see very well after I wore these lenses. Bunty or bubbly, amazing.
So my producer told me that this outfit became so popular that everybody went out and had one stitched.
Yes, it was it was one of a kind. It was a transparent salwar with the short kurti, which got a lot of traction at that point of time. They were called bubbly kurtas, I think. Bubbly look. This was the bubbly look with the jhola.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was styled by Akin Narula, again a very, very talented designer.
And the range to do something this light and this fun. After we've all seen
Yeah, and in
black and
fact,
white.
strangely, I finished shooting for black and then I stepped into bubbly.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And what was
so-
that like?
Amazing. I was like, it was like, like hota na ki, you were like, and like constantly laughing. And I think I had a blast shooting for like bubbly again with Shad. So it was like Abhishek, Shad, myself, and we were like traveling these cities through Kanpur, Lucknow, Rishikesh. We were just traveling Leh, Ladakh. We were like going from one place to the other, Dehradun. We were like just on the road and shooting this film. So again, this was like a mad shooting. Mad, complete mad. Of course,
Yes, of
Shivani
course.
Shivaji Roy, Mardani. This is Mardani 1
Yeah.
because I have that flick my hair. Yeah, it's amazing. And I remember after I shot for the climax of Mardani, I went and got married. Yeah, so my husband proposed to me just before I started shooting for the climax.
And you had a flick at the wedding?
No, I had. Yes, I actually had the flick. Yeah, it was the continuity. Hairstyle.
And the last one? I mean, this one is a
course.
favorite.
Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway.
As a mom, it's just...
No, it's just amazing. And this the story of Sagarika,
Yeah.
from whom the story was inspired. When I heard the story subject for the first time, I was in complete shock. I actually told Nikhil, who's the producer, I said, Nikhil, are you joking with me? What is this story that you've got me? Are you like
How can this be
teasing?
real? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was during COVID, so I thought it's just one of his pranks or something. And he said, "No, Rani, this is a reality." And believe me, Faye, I was very ashamed because I was ashamed because, as a citizen of the country, when this case was in India in 2012, I never read it. I never saw the news. And it was all over the news, apparently.
It was.
It was all over the news, it was all over the papers. And I felt so bad that how come I never read about this case, and I didn't know that this was a reality. So when I started my research and I started to go through the news clippings and all of that actually had happened, it shook me. I was like, how is that even possible that a country can take away your children just because your way of bringing them up and their way of bringing them up
It's different.
is different
It's at a cultural level.
at a cultural level. And also the fact that this is the challenges that the immigrants face in another country. Like I didn't know that was such a big challenge, because when we go abroad and we meet our cousins, or we've met them in India, like when I was much younger, there's always a very rosy picture about
Living
people who come
overseas.
from overseas, and they come with different chocolates, and they come with different things that look very different and shiny, but the reality is very different.
The national award for this one.
Yes.
I mean, there were a lot of us who thought that you should have gotten the award at Black and several other moments in your career. Did it feel like vindication, or did it feel like, okay, I earned this? This has taken some time, but
For me, Faye, the way I've looked at my career, I've always wanted to do the best that I can in my career. And I've been away from chatter of whatever the chatter could be: negative, positive, great, bad, good, ugly. Because for me, having to do this job in itself is a very big blessing. The fact that I can go out there and do this job and earn a living for my family, I think that's for me is a very big blessing. Everything else is like
noise.
bonus.
Okay.
Bonus. The love that I get from my audience is immeasurable and irreplaceable. The fact that they come and see my movie, they buy a ticket to watch my movie, for me that is a blessing, because that is a hard-earned money. They are spending it on me. For me, that is a blessing. For me, the fact that I could give my parents a wonderful life, like I get very emotional each time I talk about it. But for me, that is important. So whether I was to win, not to win, whether I get an award, I don't get an award, I think what is most important is that I get the love and respect of my audience. I see them making me part of their families. There's so many times they cut my birthday cake, and they send me videos and they send me wishes. So for me, I have a family outside my family. So for me, those are awards. Those are things that I value and keep next to my heart. Even the national award now, I value it, and I don't go into the conversation of why, when, what, which. No. Something that I'm getting, it could be an award you give me now. Then, Rani, this is my token of appreciation for you. For me, that is beautiful. Like anything that I receive in my lifetime from my friends, my family, my fans, from the government, it's all great. It's just amazing.
Your father was a director, producer.
Yes.
And your mum was a playback singer. So
Yes.
they were in the industry.
Yes.
And when they see the journey that you have made,
Yes.
what is that like? From where you
No,
started to where you are
they
now?
are hugely proud of me, of course. My dad passed into 2017. So my dad, like when I was born, we came from a very humble background. So many times I've seen my mum trying to have ends meet. I've been in a home where during the monsoons, we didn't know if our shed would, fly off. And there used to be water, pouring, and we had these little utensils everywhere,
Yeah.
gathering the water and then helping mom every night, taking off,
those-
emptying those things. So I've seen, and I've grown up in that, and my probably my reason for coming into films was also because somewhere my mom wanted the fact that by the time that I grew up, my dad was much older, and the situation was not that great at home. So she also wanted me to work in films because she actually thought that it would make the situation at home more comfortable, which I realized much later because my mom always like, see, all these things today when I talk, it sounds like today I understand what it was. But when it was happening in my life, it was fun. Like, the water falling and us going and emptying. It was like, it was fun. And my parents never made us feel that there was pressure. They always had a smiling face. Whether I was eating that one chapati and the sabzi at home, that was like a celebration. Ki daddy's back from work and we're sitting and we're eating our meal. Mom didn't have fancy food kept on the table every day. But it was like if dad wanted to have some sweet, it used to be good and milk at the most, which she would have with the roti. So they were very happy, and we've seen I've grown up in a very happy household. When things used to get rusted in the house, like Sundays used to be my DIY day with dad. Do it yourself. So I used to be painting that, removing the rust, and we used to live very close to the sea. So things used to rust very
Everything would
easily,
rust,
So those were my fun times with dad. Sitting and cleaning them up and painting it, and that was my that was my growing up. So it was only much later I realized that what, things are changing in the house. A new sofa is coming, or there's a TV that has come. We always had that one TV and that one car which was broken. Like I remember dad dropping me to school with the car door broken, and we've tied it with a rope. So then I started seeing things changing little, and I saw it was making my parents even happier. So my interest was about just going to work and coming back. It was much later I realized that it's a serious business, and you need to really work on yourself, your character. There's so many fans who love you and they expect you to do extremely well in the role. They are your fans, so you can't let them down. So those are things that came into my ear much later.
We've talked about success. I also want to talk a little bit about failure, because I think that we learn so much from failure, so much more than success. But I mean, if you look at your career, it almost looks pristine. Were there moments when you faced failure, and how did you make yourself start again?
Again, for me, even that failure was a blessing. The way the success was a blessing, and failure was a blessing. Because, see, for a person who didn't want this, to have this, then if this is not there, doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's about just being grateful for whatever, and then learn from there. And my dad had told me, never get overexcited with success and don't get over disillusioned with failure, because these two are going to be part of your journey. It is going to happen. So don't think that if you have a success today, tomorrow you won't see the failure. And don't get so upset with your failure today, because you might get success tomorrow again. So it is going to be part of your journey. So just keep working. So what I did is I kept just working, and that's what I keep doing. Like I have to give my best, because tomorrow when I'm seeing a film of mine that either does well or doesn't do well, at least I know in my heart that I gave my 100%. Now, whether an audience accepted the film for the entirety of the film or no, that is a secondary thing. But at least I should, in my heart and my head, know that I've given my best. So that is very, very important.
In your opinion, what does it take to be a good actor?
Be honest. Yeah, I have to just be honest. Because so many times, the decision of being an actor is not about just being an actor. It is also about talking about the fame and the adulation and the glamour that comes with it. So if you're going to look for that, then you are going to be disillusioned at some point in your life, because it's not always going to be there. But if you're an actor, you have to stay honest to your craft, so you have to stay connected to the craft for which you're known. You're known as an actor first, The rest of whether it is magazine covers or say doing advertisements, that's really not the job of an actor. You know, the job of an actor is to act and play that character, on screen. So stay connected to the craft.
There's a lot of there's a lot of
What was that reaction you just gave? Were you thinking of your next question, or were you trying to understand what I just said? Faye, tell me.
No, I was thinking of my next question.
Okay. Okay, because I didn't get a nod of a yes or a no. It was.
So there's a change now, and you did, and I thought of it because you said the craft has to be honest, and everything else is outside.
Bonus,
outside
yeah.
of that. I've had a couple of producers tell me that right now lead actors are charging too much, and the entourages cost too much money, and people have multiple vanities, and there's so
They should
much-
just not give.
no, but
They should just stop it.
they should just stop it. You think?
Yeah, if they stop it, then the actors won't.
But the actors will say, "This is what I need in order to perform."
Okay, so then don't take the actor.
Huh.
See, it's a decision of the producer.
It's commerce.
It is commerce. So if you are wanting to give, if you want that actor and if you're giving into what the actor is wanting, then the actor is going to ask or have the authority and say no. Then if you're going to ask for this, then I'm not going to take you in the film.
Huh.
But then they have to say that also, na?
Yeah.
Yes, either have the authority and say, okay, this is not working out for me. I'm not able to do this extra things. So then choose. Either you give it to them and you want them so badly for your film, then you give it. If you don't want to give it, then you should be, and don't give it, and then be okay to not have the actor and go to another actor.
Was set simpler when
There's so
you
many
started
actors,
out?
no?
Yeah. Wait,
So many actors.
There was a time when the director के घर से खाना आता था, and you used to all eat together, and it was.
नहीं, डायरेक्टर के घर से नहीं आता था, किसी के एक के घर से आ जाता था. मतलब particularly the director's wife was not cooking only. So means like sometimes somebody gets food from homes.
Yeah.
Sometimes like it can be anyone. It's not particularly just director के
No,
घर
I
से.
mean it was a simpler time.
No, but I still get food from home for my team, for like everybody. So it just depends what you are feeling and whether you have a good cook at home or whether your mom wants to cook. There's so many directors who meet me today also and say, "Arey, we loved the fish curry that your mom used to send."
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's like a family atmosphere. Like you work as a team, you work as a family. Today half the people are on a diet. तो आजकल उसके वजह से खाना नहीं आता है क्योंकि सब
Everybody has
डाइट
very
फूड खा रहे हैं स्पेसिफिक
Yeah.
food because there's gluten free and dairy free and sugar free. So then so many things are free. Then what do you do?
So as a Bengali, will you ever get on one of these diets?
No, I can't because I can't enjoy fish that is not fried.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a problem, and I have to have my good, and good is sugar in a way.
Yes.
Just because it doesn't say sugar
Doesn't mean it's not.
doesn't mean it's not sweet. So yeah, and I have to eat my rice.
Yeah.
So the glycemic index has to shoot up. I can't help it, and I have to have my aloo sheddo, which is the
Yeah.
boiled aloo mash. Have to have those things.
Yeah, I grew up in the south. I can't do without the rice.
Rice, no?
Rice
Yeah.
and fish curry.
Yes,
Have to have.
have to have.
Have to have. There's also a corporatization of the industry right now, right? So recently, Dharma, Excel, Balaji, Sikya, they've all raised corporate funds. Is that, in your mind, changing the way the industry functions? Is it becoming more structured? Are films becoming more corporatized in terms of contracts?
I think
and
it
things
also,
like that?
of course, it has become more corporatized, and I think sometimes it's good to have that because at the times from where I've started, I think it used to be very, very simple. I don't think there used to be such hardbound contracts.
Yeah.
It was all done in faith.
Yeah, it was more a family.
It was more
Family-run
it was
businesses,
more
right?
like more than family run businesses. I think even if it was not a family run business, but it was still a lot of things happened on faith. There are so many times producers have come and told my parents that we're not being able to pay the rest of the fees, and my parents were like, it's okay, don't pay. It was more like simpler. Now of course things are changed because there's so many people coming into production and producing films, and they're not particularly from the film industry, so everything is getting like hardbound with contracts, hardbound with things.
Is that better?
Both were good in its own way. Like, you like have to grow, right? And change is inevitable. That's the only constant actually, change. So one should go with the times. There is no point sitting and saying, "Arey, wo time acha tha, ye time aisa hai." I don't think we should do that.
Yeah.
I think it's important to go with the times, and however things are happening, we have to mold ourselves in that time. Otherwise, what will happen is people will move ahead and you will be left behind, because nobody's really going to change anything for that one person or for that one romanticized version of how filmmaking should be.
Rani, thank you so much for
Thank you.
spending time with me today and answering all of my questions. I wish you very, very good luck.
I hope you're convinced, because with your expression, I couldn't make out were you convinced of my answers or you were not. You just gave a very non-committal expression.
I wish you very good luck for
Thank
that.
you, Faith. Thank
All
you.
the best.
Thank you.
you.